Hi all. So I just thought I'd come on and make this video. To be honest, I've been really apprehensive about making this video. I've put it to the side, but it keeps coming back around. When I'm waking up in the morning, I'm having dreams about it, so I know this is something that I need to do. I really just want to talk about what I'm observing, what's going on at the minute, at this current state of affairs around this virus. So I'm trying to figure out where to start. Okay, I'll start with this. Now, anything I'm going to share, I am being completely respectful. If you've had some dealing with coronavirus, if you know somebody who has passed on, whatever way, shape or form, if you're affected, I'm not here to offend anybody. I respect you, and I've been asked for that respect back, okay? So I'll just start with what I have observed and my other layers of perception and how this ties in. So on Facebook, there is a completely two divided sort of camps. The first school of thought is, social distancing, you can't go near people, there's a lot of fear, there is, why are people out, why are people at the beach, why are people here, there and everywhere, are they stupid, do they not understand, right? And then there's the other set, okay, the other set of people whose views are, what's going on here, this doesn't make sense, you need to check out your human rights are being taken away, and there is freedom of speech is being taken away, and this whole other set. Now, I was trying to find a word to articulate how I'm feeling, and I suppose disappointed is the closest, and I'll let you know what I mean by that. So, if you do not like cursing, cover your ears. The first side, who are horrified at people not social distancing. Now, I'm going to give you real life examples of what I've actually heard, okay? So this side are saying things like, thick as shit, doesn't know they're not supposed to go to the beach, thick as shit, doesn't know how to social distance in a supermarket, thick as shit, does this and does that, and a big rant, okay? And then there is a whole load of comments that agree with this person. And then on the other side, I have people saying, there's more to this, what's going on, looking at all different news, supposedly fake news. But they're also saying, fuckwits, these fuckwits do not understand what's going on. And these people are sheeple. Why? Why on both sides? It made me think of the phrase, united we stand, divided we fall. Now, I do not like the name calling on each side. I have my personal opinions. You don't have to agree with me. I don't have to agree with you. But I expect a certain amount of respect, in my opinion. And you can expect the same amount of respect back again. So what I'm saying, I'm sorry, I don't know if anybody else feels like they've stepped into the twilight zone. I know I have. I know that that's how I feel. And what I'm just saying is, it's not necessary. The people I know who are making these comments on Facebook, they're good people. They're all good people. And I understand at the minute tensions are high, you may be frustrated, you may be confused, but it doesn't really give you the right to downgrade other people. Now, my opinions have changed. I was once on this side. Not that there really is sides. My opinion was more here. My opinion is now more there. And the reason being, I have done my own research. Again, I'm not here to offend anybody. I am not telling you what to do. But I invite you, maybe not for yourself, although I would hope you would do it for yourself, if you just do a bit of research into what actually is going on here. And then form your own opinion. And maybe not browbeat other people, that would be great too. So, you know, somewhere to start. I'm not here to send people links. I'm not here to tell them where to go, what to do. That's up to you. That's your personal responsibility as a citizen. Okay? One pointer would be check out gov.uk, check out your human rights, check out what's going on, and maybe, if you're brave, have a look at some alternative viewpoints. Except at the minute, they're actually rapidly disappearing. So that information may not be there for very long. And I would even ask you to just feel into your own inner guidance system. Does something feel a little off? Does something feel a little strange? You know, there's a way lot of confusion going on. I'm going to get in more into that in a minute. But what I did observe from this side, from this camp, they said, well, so I've been social distancing and taking it very seriously, and people are so selfish and putting other people at risk. But what I don't understand is how people can go and jump on a plane in a lot of weeks and sit beside in close proximity with somebody, but yet I can't go and visit my mother. Does that make sense to you? Even this side are beginning to question. So a little bit about my awareness. I want to just go into that again. Hold your own viewpoints. I work with children, clinical hypnotherapist. I do a lot of things, right? So, but I'm going to focus on this for now. These relevant bits. Okay, so I'll start with this. So, what I'm observing when I was trained to be a clinical hypnotherapist, and I was fascinated by what I was understanding about the way the mind works, and so I'll give you a few pointers. When I work with somebody for clinical hypnotherapy, my intention is to bypass the critical factor of the mind and to go deeper to the subconscious mind, to work with negative belief systems, to cause positive change. Now, the way that I do that, well, I bypass logic, reason, and the judgment, and you know, through a set of processes, and we go to the subconscious mind. So what I'm recognizing, and there's multiple ways that somebody can go into hypnosis. There is an authority figure, whether it be a teacher, a parent, the government. There's a way. Another one would be a celebrity or somebody of high status. Wow, who's got coronavirus? This celebrity, that celebrity. There's another one. And another would be repetition. Repetition of the fear, anxiety, okay? You know, if you look at it, it's on the news, it's on YouTube, it's on Facebook, it's in a letter, it's in a text message, on the radio, bombardment of this fear. So there's ways. And you know what? The one, another, I'll go into this first. When I'm working with somebody in clinical hypnotherapy, I use certain techniques, but it's to get compliance. Now, when I'm looking at a supermarket and I'm seeing things labelled and stretched out, oh, stand here, stand there, don't stand there, too close. And every time you do, you're saying yes. Your subconscious mind is hearing yes, I'm complying. So there's another thing that's used. And the number one thing that I would use to get somebody into the right brainwave frequency for me to work for positive change is to cause confusion. Now, if you think about today, obviously, I've asked a myriad of people, how are you feeling? How are you experiencing the world? Aside from fear, do you know what they'll say? Confused. I'm confused. I don't know what's going on. There's been so many contrary guidelines. Okay. Confusion. So when I work in clinical hypnotherapy, I use a process called somnambulism. And that basically causes confusion, so I can set to the side for a moment or however long it takes the conscious mind, and I can work with the subconscious mind, the deeper part of the mind. Now, somnambulism is a form of like waking sleep state. It's actually the state you would be in if you were sleepwalking. So that's very interesting to me that the mass consensus at the minute is people are, number one, fear. And that is due to all of this fear that's being pumped around everywhere. And that triggers the amygdala to release cortisol, and that's the stress hormone, fight or flight, confuse all of this, right? Survival mind. You are not in your critical factor. You're not using logic, reason, or judgment. You are in survival mode. So confusion. What I am seeing in the world is a lot of hypnosis techniques being used on a mass scale. Very strange. Again, form your own conclusions, do your own research. So I've observed all of this, and the main point I'm actually on today is to share where I'm greatly concerned and frustrated is how this is going to affect our children. Now, I have had a lot of training, I've done a lot of research, I work with children, okay, to nurture them and nurture them to be strong, confident individuals that can form close relationships. And I've had a lot of training in that area. And what's going on and what's coming down the pipeline is so the polar opposite to creating a healthy individual and their mindset. Okay? So in the classroom, there will be these cordoned off bits everywhere. Psychologically, what do you think that's going to do to your child? Ask yourself this question. Let's say, for example, you have a nursery age child. Say they fall in the play yard, whatever. And so what is the regular, what's the consensus going to be? Let them bleed, let them stay there, let them be hurt. We can't touch them, could give them coronavirus. Psychologically, what do you actually think that's going to do for your child? Now, what I'm seeing is this new normal and some of the stuff that's been banded about to create social distancing is very concerning to me. And I can just see the psychological effects that are down the line. That is more important than what's going on at the minute, the mental health crisis and the economic collapse that is going on at the minute. Okay? Again, I am not being disrespectful. I invite you again, please do your research, if not for me, for yourself, for your children. Okay? There was a study by a doctor, I think it's Harlow, can't really bring his, I think it was William Harlow, in the 1950s, and it was a study to do with touch deprivation, and he had monkeys, and what he did was he put in one cage a fake, just a fur monkey, that mother monkey, and he also put in just a bottle, but like a wire monkey, and he separated these young monkeys, infant monkeys, from their parent, and he studied the psychological effects of what would happen. And it was actually very interesting to see what did happen. So check that out. His name's Professor Harlow, psychologist, American. Yeah, if you want to check that out, please do. And 1958, I know that's when the study was. And what he found was these little infant baby monkeys went and clung to a fake fur monkey with no food rather than cling to the burr wire monkey that had food. They were actually willing to die because it was so distressing. What does that tell you? Anyway, he separated them for months at a time, 18 months, something like that. And what he found was these little infant monkeys were severely psychologically disturbed. They were never right. And, you know, if you want to do a bit of research into the Romanian orphanages, it goes all into that touch and stimulation deprivation. Check that out. So really that's all what I'm on to say. This video isn't for me. This isn't for anybody else other than the children. And I'm not here to bash anybody. I don't want to be involved in wasting my time and my energy going on a downward spiral, getting into negative arguments with people. No, not at all. I am here to build people up, but I would also like people to have a bit of awareness as to what's going on, okay? So I'm making positive steps. I am making good positive connections. I'm focusing on positive things and reading and all these different aspects. So for yourself, for your own mental health, turn off the news. Stop listening to people who are fear. Just for you, because I am no different to anybody else. I'm no different to you. I fell down this rabbit hole of believing all of this. And the more I began to research and the more I began to see, no, something, again, this is the last thing I would invite you to do. Ask yourself honestly, does this seem real? Does this seem normal? Does this seem viable? Does this seem strange? Does it seem odd? How do you feel? Ask yourself for the answer. But then in the short term, we do the social distancing, there's all this stuff that goes on in the short term. Are we actually looking long term as to how this is going to affect not only adults with mental health issues and a varying degree of other things to do with the economy? What about these children that are going to be raised like battery packed hens in cages near enough? No space, no toys, social distancing. Check out what your school's policy is going to be. So that's all I want to say. People, the only thing I would ask, please be respectful. Be respectful. United we stand. Divided we fall. We're all adults here. Thank you for taking the time to listen.